Okay, so we're reviewing analysis by Mark McClish. Um, Previously reviewed his analysis of the 911 call. Now going into the ransom note. I want to see this. So, starting off here, key piece of evidence in solving this murder is the ransom note. Police, as well as Ramseys, believe that whoever wrote this note is probably the killer. That's the only clue you have. So, of course, you would say that. If police can match the handwriting in the ransom note to a suspect's handwriting, the case is solved. The problem, oh, if it were that easy, the problem has been they have not found a match. Even without a positive match, the ransom note is still the key in solving this crime. Using statement analysis, we can determine or examine this ransom note and determine if it is a legitimate ransom note. Um, was it the intention of the writer to extort money from the Ramseys, or was the note written as a ploy after John Bonet was killed? Um, Determining the veracity of the ransom note is important. If the note is legitimate, then we know we have a kidnapping that went bad. Uh, of course, um, this would exclude. I have a problem with the kidnapping gone bad theory just because this is a small foreign faction. They seem like they have everything set up, the watching of the family, the watching of the cops. They have different things tapped, apparently, according to an inference based on the fact that, they know what John is saying. They know police countermeasures. They know where John is going to be going. They're watching everything in order to be able to say, hey, if you move it up and you get the money earlier, then, you know, bring it to us and we'll give you your child back. And so these people are really smart. So to believe that they up and botched the kidnapping is not a plausible um, outcome to me. Determining the veracity of the ransom note is important. If it's legitimate, we know that if we have a kidnapping gone bad, um, uh, this would exclude the Ramseys as possible suspects. Um, why would they kidnap their own child and demand money from themselves? If this note is fraudulent, then we know this was a murder made to look like a kidnapping. Anyone could be the possible subject. Let's examine the ransom note left at the Ramsey's residence. I've added numbers in the left-hand columns to make it easier to reference while analyzing. So, of course, we already know what the note says. We're a small foreign faction. I need $118,000, and you'll get your daughter back safely. You play games with me, and we're going to have some problems, and your daughter's going to die. So be smart and don't act up. So one of the first thing, and that's just a fast run through of what the note says. So one of the first things that we noticed is that this is very long ransom note. Most of the ransom notes are short and to the point. We have your daughter, or we have your kid. She is safe. It costs you about $500,000 to get her back. Don't call the police. We will be contacting you. This ransom note was written on 3 pieces of paper. This is our first clue. This note may be bogus. True. As we read the ransom note, we find that it doesn't make much sense on line number 2. We are a group of individuals. What exactly does the writer mean by group of individuals? Every group is comprised of individuals. That is hilarious. Number 2 is that, listen carefully, we're a group of individuals that represent a small foreign faction. That's true. I didn't think the note made sense anyway, but now we're breaking it down to line 2. We are a group of individuals. What exactly what, and that's what I'm saying. Like the vagueness of the letter. We're a group of individuals. We're a small foreign faction. From where? Who's been watching me? What? And then you say SBTC victory. Like, what does that stand for? Listen carefully. We're a group of individuals that represent a small foreign faction. We respect your business, but not the country it serves. Right also states in lines 2 and 3. Here, and here, they represent a small foreign faction. They use the word small. That doesn't make sense. A kidnapper would want to exhibit power over the Ramseys? I don't know. The word small minimizes the kidnapper. But they're saying we're a small foreign faction. So if we look at the word faction, the faction is we're part of a bigger group, and so we're just a small group that was sent out to do this. That's how I took it. The use of the word foreign sounds odd, even if to us they are foreigners, they wouldn't call themselves foreigners. They would say something like, "We are the Islamic Jihad." Maybe, maybe, maybe they would. Um, I don't think they have to, but I do think it's odd that they're just like a group that's floating in the wind. But if you don't want the cops to know who you are and you just want to get in and get out, you wouldn't say anything. You would just say, what, we're a small foreign faction. Line 3, the writer states, we respect your business. Everything a person says has a meaning. There's a reason why the writer included this in the ransom note. If Patsy Ramsey was the author of the note, she may have mentioned this to create distance between John's company and the investigation. He was protecting the source of income. At the very least, mentioning respect for the business tells us the writer knows something about John Ramsey and his business Access Graphics. If a psychopath who was infatuated with JonBenet killed her, I doubt he would mention respect for John Ramsey's business. That's true, unless he was trying to throw us off. That's true, unless he was trying to throw us off, and he did in that case. And that's what I'm saying. We can't rule out an intruder on those grounds, because if an intruder was trying to throw somebody off, he might say something, because the intruder who being infatuated with JonBenet might actually be infatuated with the family in general. The intruder or whoever wrote this note might just be infatuated with who the family is. Oh, I respect everything that you've done. Because see, people who do stuff like this, they're very weird, in what they like. They might say, oh, you know what I'm saying? I respect you for, they will literally come back to the scene of the crime and be like, oh, I respect you so much, and I respect your work, and you're such an awesome person. If there's anything you need, just let me know. They'll do that weird stuff. So I can't write that off. But I do understand his point, and I can't say that I disagree with his point either. So let's move on. So Mr. Ramsey, listen, we're a small foreign faction. We respect your business, but not the country it serves. They go on to say in 3 and 4 right here, we respect your business, misspelled, but not the country it serves. Are we to believe that JonBenet was kidnapped and murdered because someone had hatred for the United States? Most people would agree this crime is not an international incident. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. Why the heck would this foreign faction come over to take your daughter for $118,000 and then say, you know what? We're taking your, we don't have anything. We don't have any problem with you, John. The problem that we have with you is your business is in the United States. Well, shoot. Why my daughter? Why my kids? Why not why not the richest man in America at the point who has kids? Like, why you got to come to Boulder, Colorado? And that's why I had to ask, what was John Ramsey doing in Boulder, Colorado to make waves to where a small foreign faction maybe looked on television and you're like, that guy right there. We want to go to Boulder, Colorado. We want to find that guy. That guy has kids that we want to kidnap. For what? Because his business is not even on the radar like that. In line 3, small foreign faction, writer crossed out the beginning of a word. It appears that the first was a D, and the second letter was a D. Well, the first letter was a D. Second letter was possibly an O. The writer may have started to write, "We don't respect your business." Oh yeah. Huh. Because I read it as we don't respect your business. Okay. But then changes to we respect your business. A kidnapper who already had his mind set would probably not make this mistake. And that's what I said. A kidnapper would probably have this note written out. They would have this note written out already. They would come to the crime scene with this note. So coming to the crime scene and grabbing a Sharpie and a legal pad is crazy. It's crazy work. The writer misspells two common words in lines 4 and 5, business and possessions. However, the writer correctly spells the words deviation and attache. That's a good point. Oh my goodness. This leads us to believe that the writer purposefully misspelled these two words to try to make it look like an uneducated person or a foreigner wrote this note. The two misspellings occurred in the first paragraph. After that, the writer uses correct grammar except for using the article a when he should have written an. This is further an indication the misspellings were done on purpose. The writer showed his true writing skills and forgot to misspell words throughout the note. Furthermore, whoever this person was, if they were a foreigner, they had an awesome command of the English language. Yeah, they had an awesome command of the English language. Not impossible, but if you're misspelling words like business and possessions, I would expect you to misspell something else. I have some things that I'm thinking about right now, like people who are learning English that I've come in contact with. They struggle with that stuff, and they're not dumb. I don't know English, so I'm trying to get it all together. Whoever this person was, they were excellent at English, so that they would miss those two words. You got me side-eyeing you a little bit, but you come with a word that Americans don't use on a daily basis, like attaché. I don't think outside of this, I'm going to be honest with you, outside of this, I've never heard the word attaché. I haven't. So the fact that you use that, side-eye, major side-eye. And you're trying to make it look like an uneducated person wrote this. If we're thinking about an intruder theory and we're thinking about Gary Oliva, I think, had a business. If I'm correct, I could be wrong, but based on the writing sample, he had some sort of trinket business or something like that, something that he's writing notes to people, and the notes look good. They look professional. That's why I'm confused. So, okay. But Mr. Ramsey, listen carefully. We're a small foreign faction. We have your daughter in our possession. She is safe and unharmed. And if you want to see her and you want her to see 97, you must follow our instructions to the letter. In lines 4 and 5, the writer tells us that we have your daughter in our possession. The shortest way to say something is the best way to state it. True kidnapper would have said, we have your daughter. The words in our possession are understood and unnecessary. Correct. But you never know. We have your daughter. I guess you would say, have your daughter. And we, instead of saying we have your daughter in our possession. Yeah, no, that's not natural. I don't think I would say that. Are understood. This wordiness shows that someone was trying to make it look like a kidnapping. The writer states in line 8, you will withdraw $118,000 from your account. The kidnapper may know that the Ramseys are wealthy, of course. However, but how does the writer know that they have $118,000 in their account? Most kidnappers simply state, get the money. They don't know where you're going to get it. They just say, get it. That's interesting. That's an interesting point, too, because they said specifically $118,000. How would you know how much money he has in a specific account? And you don't even say if you have money spread out amongst multiple accounts. You just assume and I guess since he's wealthy, he would have, and then if he was wealthy, he would probably have to have $118,000 in the bank. Easy. So I don't have a problem with that. The phrase Well, the amount of 118 grand is relatively small. Kidnappers are greedy. They'll demand much more, especially knowing all the balling that John was doing. I mean, for Christ's sakes, the man lives in a 4-story house and they're working on the basement. So the phrase "your account" is very interesting. First, as I previously mentioned, the kidnapper would not tell you from where to obtain the money. Kidnapper did write where to get the money from. He would probably say the bank and not your account. Secondly, if Patsy Ramsey was the author of this note, then we can see how in targeting um, the note towards her husband, she would use the phrase "your account" versus "my account." I don't see that. I don't think it's a problem. I think it's wordy to say "from your account," but I don't see why she would have had to use the phrase "your account" versus "my account." Maybe that implies that they have separate bank accounts. I don't know. But we do know that the note is consistent in pushing it toward John as John's responsibility. In line 10, bring an adequate size attaché. In line 10, the writer tells the Ramseys to bring an adequate size attaché to the bank. Most kidnappers are not going to remind you to bring an an adequate size case to hold the money. Likewise.